Hi, this is Ramona. Welcome to the TurboPurr channel, where we'll be talking about crafts and sewing with cats. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a greeting card with a cat motif with a built-in design from the Brother ScanNCut 330DX. My inspiration is two of my kitty cats, and here they are. Aren't they cute? You could take your cats and change the colors on the cats, or if you're gifting it, change the colors to your friend who you're gifting your card to. I'm listing the supplies here. The Brother ScanNCut machines have different motifs in them that you can cut or draw, and the cat motif is in most of those models. To start, I'm showing the Brother ScanNCut screen. I'm selecting the pattern and touching to select the patterns here. That brings us to the screen with the animal patterns option to touch and select, and the cat silhouette. From here, I use the default size. You can change the size on this proportionally if you wish to fit a larger or smaller card. In this example, I am using only the silhouette. With this screen, you see that you can cut the whiskers on the left and the right separately. And with the last icon with the outline of the cat, that is an option where if you would like, you can use a drawing tool in your ScanNCut to draw the outline of the design on a sheet of paper. I have done that before if I am layering vinyl to make sure that I have all of the separate pieces aligned. In this design, we need two cats, so I have changed the number to 2 and clicked Set. That brings us to the next screen. So we have two cats on our mat here. I have touched one of the cats and a red box appears around it. So from here, I need to mirror image one of the cats, and the blue icon for the mirror image is highlighted when it's touched. So you'll notice here that the cats are now mirror imaged because one of them has been turned to face the other direction. So from here, we have the mirror images. And click OK. From here, we are selecting. So in this example, I'm going to be cutting these designs from paper and cardstock. After you load the mat and the tool that you are using, the Start button will turn green. Right here, it's faded out because I haven't loaded the mat yet. And then you can test and start. After cutting or drawing, the next part of the pattern is highlighted. So you could select B to do the left whiskers, B prime to do the right whiskers. And if you wanted to draw the whole design outline, you could do that. But in this one, we're just doing A, the silhouette, and then finish. Here I'm showing the cardstock shapes that I've cut out. When I make greeting cards, I usually go ahead and just cut out 2 at a time. That way, if something goes wrong with the first one, then I still have my card done. I make a lot of birthday cards, and it's always good to go ahead and just make them in multiples. Here I've cut the background paper. I have purchased base cards from the local big box craft store, or you can order blank cards online. I'm using a 5x7 card, and here I'm showing it in the card in landscape orientation because that's how the card is going to be when it's put together. So here I've cut a piece of just colorful background paper, and I will glue this or double-sided tape it to the front of the blank greeting card base. And here it's pretty simple. I've taken the shapes that were cut with a ScanNCut and used glue on the back of the papers, the paper silhouettes, and glued them to different base cards and decorative paper. I use Barely Art glue. Um, pretty simple. The only thing I would like to mention is you have to be careful with the glue, because sometimes if you use too much glue, or different brands of glue have different properties, and sometimes I've had problems with the glue warping the paper, so the paper isn't laying flat. Um, so Barely Art glue works pretty well. I just use a really thin coat of it on the back, especially the parts like the tail that are sticking up, because I don't want those to lift from the card. So I glue all the little pieces down, make sure the paws and the little ears are glued down. And then afterwards, I take a scraper, or like an old card, like plastic card of some kind, just to kind of run over the design to make sure everything sticks well. You just kind of have to be careful with it, because as far as not getting too much glue on it, or having the glue get in places that you don't want it. And here I've attached the colorful or the decorative paper to the base card with double-sided tape. That's my preference, because with the double-sided tape you don't have to worry about any glue warping. And I purchased the double-sided tape at a big box craft store, and I just keep a couple rolls of it handy. And now I'm going to show you an idea of how to do the inside of the birthday card. Here, again, we've gone back to one of the basic screens on a ScanNCut, and when you click on the Smile and Create option, it gives you different sentiments to choose from. So here we're selecting Bon Voyage to bring up the list of sentiments, and you have to toggle down on the arrow key. These sentiments are arranged alphabetically, and so you toggle down until you see Happy Birthday. And again, here I'm just going to go ahead and leave this at the default. I think really on future cards that I make in 5x7, I'm going to reduce the size on this to make it smaller, but for this example, I'm just using the default and then hit set. I often use scraps of leftover vinyls and leftover cardstock, so the option to scan the background material is really handy. Once you've scanned your background, then you can touch your lettering or design on this screen and move it over where your background scan is to maximize the use of your material. In this example, I'm going to be showing you how to apply sticky back vinyl to cardstock. So I'm going to cut the sticky back vinyl, and since I'm using sticky back vinyl on this, if you have one of the DX machines, you can click half cut. You'll notice that in this screen, the half cut has a blue button that says off, and that's the default. So when you touch the on button, then the color changes so that you know that it is on. If you have one of the older machines, there is uh, a blade holder for the ScanNCut where you can dial the uh, the cutting depth, and that's actually what I use. I have had some old ScanNCuts, and I still use that, and I set mine to about 1.5 or usually 2. Here I've cut out the sticky back vinyl, and it's on its carrier sheet. So when you have the vinyl on a sheet, it comes on a carrier sheet, which has got a little bit of a glossy surface on it. So I have cut and weeded the vinyl on this, so it's still stuck to the sheet. And I've used some um, transfer tape, and I use any brand of transfer tape, not necessarily the Brother brand, but I just use whatever I have on hand as far as transfer tape. So I've taken the transfer tape and lifted it off its carrier sheet and then placed it over the vinyl and used the scraping tool to smooth it down and adhere it to the glittery vinyl lettering. Okay, I've turned the vinyl lettering upside down, and from here I'm pulling off the carrier sheet from behind the lettering. I have found that it's helpful to pull off the carrier sheet at an angle. That, in my experience, that just seems to work best when trying to remove the carrier sheet and keep the object, the vinyl, stuck to the transfer tape. Sometimes when you're pulling off the carrier sheet, the vinyl will lift off the transfer tape. If that happens, I find it better to use like one of the tools like a brayer or the edge of the brayer or a card or something like that, just to touch it and push it down and keep it on stuck to the transfer tape. So here you can see the transfer tape is pulled off, and you can actually see where the happy birthday is just kind of lightly etched into the back of that carrier sheet for the the sticky back vinyl. So we can discard that piece, the carrier sheet that came with the vinyl. And so the next step will be to apply this happy birthday motif to the decorative paper. And this is the part that will go inside the card. Now, personally, I like to use um, a light table, and I have a light table with a grid on it. It's very handy. You don't need that at all. Um, Generally, you can just get it straight by just looking at it and visually putting it where you want it, and it'll be just fine. Some people, you can also, use a window with the light coming behind it. But since I have a light table, I like to use it just to have the help of the grid to get everything lined up. And here I have put the sticky back vinyl on top of the card, and the transfer tape is still on top of it. You can lightly see the grid on the transfer tape. And again, I'm going to use the scraping tool to rub back and forth across the vinyl and the transfer tape to adhere it to the transfer tape. And again, I'll be pulling the transfer tape off at an angle slowly to make sure that I have that the vinyl lettering adhered to the base paper. Okay, so here we go. I have taken sticky back I've taken double-sided tape and put it on the back of the decorative paper, the green decorative paper, to adhere that to the inside of the greeting card. I like to cut extra shapes when I'm using the ScanNCut, so I had an extra cat that I could glue on the inside of the card. And I'm done here. So here is another photo of the outside of the card. You could add your own lettering. I think it would be really cute if you're giving the card as a greeting card to one of your friends to put in the name of their pets. You could do that with the ScanNCut, or you could just write it in. And thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. And thanks, and I'll see you next time.